Welcome to 5 and 5 from the One Stop Co-op Shop, where I look at 5 key aspects of a game in about 5 minutes. I'm Michael Kelly, and today I'm looking at Intrepid, the solo and cooperative game of space station survival. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. I enjoyed the basic version of Intrepid back when I covered it in the crowdfunding campaign. How do I feel about the final release? Let's find out and get to the list. So my number 5 point is a bit of a mix for my taste, and that's looking at the missions that are your main goal in the game. On the positive side, the choice of when to start these and drastically cut your generation of certain resources and like which tiles to build into to try to prepare yourself for that, working as a team, that can all be really interesting and tense. You generally feel like you never want to start any of them, but of course you have to get them going to win the game and reveal the other missions, so it's a nice challenge. But on the negative side, since they're all just a drain on one or more resources, it can feel a little bit samey game to game. They don't really change things up. It's really just a question of, oh, is green more important this time or is red more important this time? It doesn't provide that much variety across plays. My number 4 point is also a mix for my taste, and that's looking at the research and upgrading and tile building you do throughout the game. On the positive side, again, this provides tough choices for the players. When do they want to spend their limited capacity to increase their research track, which gets you nothing in the short term, but eventually unlocks stronger and stronger tiles for you to place on the station that give drastically greater resources and benefits from using them. But then you also have the choice of when you want to upgrade the number of dice you're rolling, so you have a lot of things kind of pulling at the same resource capacity. The negative for this is similar to the last one, just kind of a minor complaint, but does bring it down to a mix for me, and that's that you tend to do the same kind of things in each game, so it just feels like it follows somewhat of a similar script each time. But I'm up to a full pro for my number 3, and those are the disasters, kind of the main ongoing negative effects you have to face during the game. So in just the base game, you get 3 of them, although one is a training simulator that always plays out the same way. But then you get toxic leaks and meteor showers. Meteor showers damage your components, your tiles, so they don't work as well, whereas toxic leaks place limits on the dice you can use, which makes the kind of dice placement puzzle very different. So both of these play out quite a bit differently, force you to focus on different things. And then a really nice touch are the irregularities. These allow you to add both a positive and a negative effect, 4 of them per disaster. So you have even more kind of ways to play than just the base 2. So yeah, I think these provide a nice amount of change and difference and really impact your decision-making process in a major way. So they add a lot of fun to the game and tension. But I'm back to a mix for my taste for number 2, and that's the math and resource calculation in the game, which is kind of the most important thing. You know, you're looking at your resource tiles, you're looking at what you can generate for each station, and you might have a lot to run if you're playing in a slower player count game. And the whole game is really about trying to keep these balanced, trying to like make sure that all of them get to 10 or that all of them get to 8, and just calculating how much you're losing, how much you can potentially make, how many dice you have to actually go into that. It's both one of the most interesting parts of the game, but also for those who don't want to like add and subtract and figure out a lot of numbers, it could be one of the most frustrating. But my number 1 point is a pro, and that's kind of the main thing in the game, which is the dice placement puzzle and how it combos into each other. You'll be placing dice on specific spots based on your nationality, and a ton of them, like most of them in the game, will give you manipulation of your other dice or will let you gain extra dice. So you tend to have this fun combo thing where, you know, you get that die and it gives you a few more dice. Then you put that die down, now you get a few more dice. Then you can do those dice, then you get a few more dice. So you feel cool, you feel like these little combos and strategies coming together. Now, a big element of this are all the different nationalities, because they do add very interesting things going on with them. Like the US is pretty straightforward, same thing with Russia, but something like Malaysia from the expansion kind of forces you to think about how you're using your dice in a much more distinct way. If you're going to get the game, you really should just go for the bundle that includes the expansion, because in just the base game, you only have 4 of these nationalities, which means at the highest player count, you're using the exact same ones every time, but then the expansion adds 4 more. So it doubles the possibilities. It also doubles like the number of extra rolls you can have for bonus powers. So I think it's really kind of an all or nothing thing. I don't think the core game is going to offer enough longevity with just 4 nations to play with. So overall, you might want to check out Intrepid if you like dice placement games, if you enjoy really tense resource management, if you like a lot of cooperation and discussion between players while also having a feeling of doing your own unique thing with your own faction. On the other hand, you might want to avoid this one if games with a lot of tension or your like things being destroyed upset you, because this game does feel like you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back as terrible things happen. And also, I would definitely recommend this game much less if you only get the base game. I would, like I said before, recommend getting the bundle because the expansion doubles the number of factions you can play with, and that's really needed to have the full variety the game lives on. And if you want to see the game in action, my preview playthrough is still up. It's basically identical to the final version of the game except for a few things, so check it out if you want to see how the game plays. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.